like my energy. She gon' see I'm the one that she need. Now she don't wanna leave. We walked in with that drink and that tree.
Hey y'all, hey, how y'all doing? What's going on? If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. Either way, thank you so much for joining me. I didn't do my other videos this week. I didn't feel right doing it, if that makes sense. I just feel like there's so much more going on that I needed to address before I could just proceed with my posting as usual. Today, I want to talk about two things. The first topic being a follow-up of the shooting death of Breonna Taylor, as well as my opinion on what's of Ice Cube working with Donald Trump and his administration on their platinum plan. A few weeks ago, I made my first Let's Talk video about the Breonna Taylor case. I've been meaning to do this video for like a week now, maybe 2 weeks. I'm so sorry that I took so long to get back to y'all about it. I'm going to try my best to remember to link the article that I read when that I am telling y'all these facts from. After being pressured into releasing the recordings from the evidence that was all of the evidence from the case that made him decide to not, well, that the cops shouldn't be found as guilty for the killing of Breonna Taylor. So I never actually got to listen to the recordings, I'll be honest with y'all, but I did read some of the transcript, what I could find. I read what I could find. So let me just go ahead and give y'all all the details. There was some things that I stated in the first video that was incorrect, and so like I don't want that to be your last impression of what I told y'all, okay? Or I don't even want that to be the only information, if you didn't look any more into it, that you have. I want you to have the correct information because I got y'all, okay? All right, night of the shooting. We're gonna start off with the police. They said that they went to the house, and even though they didn't have to, they knocked on the door, and so they started off because Breonna Taylor was the only person on the warrant and the only person that they believed to be in the house. They say that they started off knocking lightly because they thought she would be home alone and she would just come to the door and they would pretty much explain everything what's going on. So they said that after a while they were knocking but no one was answering. So the knocking went from a light knock to a hard knock, hard enough for the neighbors to hear them knocking. And it was said that one of the neighbors actually went to the police and was like, leave her alone. That's a girl in there. And she was actually going back and forth with Brett Hankinson. Brett Hankinson being the only officer who was arrested, or not, yeah, arrested and charged for the death of Breonna Taylor. Y'all already know how I feel about that. But y'all are going to see even more of why this whole thing is crazy. I didn't even know this. And then so meanwhile, all this knocking going on, Breonna and Kenneth, they're in the house. And Kenneth said that they were watching a movie. So obviously she was not in the bed sleep. Sorry. But no, she was not in the bed sleep. They were watching the movie and then they just kept hearing this knocking at the door. In the interview, he said they both kept asking, who is it? But there was no answer. All right. So boom. So here we go. So now the knocking's getting harder. As y'all know in the last video, I said they was using that ram thing, trying to like break down the door. So now at this point, Kenneth said, as he sees the door, the hinges coming off the door, that's when he runs to get his gun, right? All right. So he gets his gun. Now the police, they finally get in. The police in the report, it says that they saw two people and then about 20 feet away from them. And Kenneth Walker, he let off one shot, okay? And then the shot hit the officer. Now the officer who got shot, he said, I heard one shot and then I felt a warm sensation in my leg. So he knew he was hit. From that point, he said it himself. He said, I returned fire. He said he shot 6 times. Okay. He shot 6 times. And then the other officer, I I saw in the interview, Gail, she said that he let off 16 shots. Okay, so he let off 16 shots. And they did that as a response to him shooting one shot. Okay, I don't care what people say. A lot of people keep saying like he was shooting at the cops on both sides. Okay, because like I said, I have to base my truth off of the information from both sides. On both sides, I only can confirm one shot was made. Okay. All right. So anyway, so now Brett Hankinson, the only officer who was arrested and charged, okay, he said, I don't remember if I started shooting right then or when I went around the house. So I didn't know this. Brett Hankinson, he actually went around to the back of the apartment and he to get a clear visual of the shooter, Kenneth Walker. This is the crazy part. He didn't even fully confirm that he was shooting at Kenneth. He just said, when I saw what I believed to be the gunman, I started firing. And then from that point, that is when his bullets went into, it went into the other apartment. Now this man was shooting with no clear view of who he was shooting at. Okay, and he said that himself. He said he shot who he believed to be the gunman. He shot through, and I think I said through different apartments, but from what I saw, it was only the one apartment. And yes, it was an apartment with the 5-year-old that I mentioned. So it was obviously the 5-year-old, her mom who was pregnant, and then maybe or maybe not her dad, I don't know, but they said it was a young couple, the female was pregnant, and then the 5-year-old child. Okay, now they were all sleeping, they weren't harmed, but shots did go through their wall. Anything could have happened, and that's even worse because he put 2 children's life in danger, a 5-year-old and then an unborn child, a pregnant lady. Come on. So yes, that's what happened. And then it says, I know I said before she was shot 8 times, but now I'm seeing different information. I saw somewhere where it says she was shot 6 times. Somewhere else says she was shot 8 times. So we're going to say she was shot between 6 and 8 times. I don't really know. Breonna Taylor, I'm sorry, girl, let me put some respect on your name, sis. Breonna Taylor was shot somewhere between 6 to 8 times. That's all that I have to say about that situation. Ice Cube. People are calling him a sellout. We recently found out that he was working with Trump and his administration to revise their platinum plan. Now, I have a lot to say. Well, not really a lot. I have just enough to say that may stir up the pot a little bit. That may even make you question what side I'm on. You might not agree with everything that I have to say, and I'm telling you, it's fine. So let's get started. So the question, is Ice Cube a sellout? Absolutely not. Some people are so blinded by being so woke that you don't even really see what's going on. And I'm not saying this in a way to attack anyone. First off, Ice Cube presented this plan to both parties. I believe he presented it to the Democrats first. All right, so he showed it to the Democrats, and then they were like, okay, we will discuss it or consider it or something like that after the elections. What? Excuse me? Say what now? You gonna do what? Run that back one more time. We will discuss it after the elections. If somebody look at your plan and they're supposed to be so all about this certain group of people because they want our vote and they really care about us and blah, 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 why you have to wait until after you win? You know what that tells me? I mean, that's an indication like, oh yeah, it's not happening. So we're going to push it off and make you think that we're going to work with you. But we're not. Honestly, neither one of these candidates have our best interests at heart. And everybody keeps saying, oh, you just have to pick the lesser of 2 evils. But in my mind, I do understand why some people are siding one way over the other, but to me, I don't think racism should be one of the reasons why someone is choosing one side over the other. I stand behind what I say 100%, because after he said that whole bit about if you're not black, no, you're not black if you don't vote for me, I said, oh, really, honey? Really? I'm not black if I don't vote for you? And that just tells me that he believes that us as a people, we're so brainwashed that he can say whatever he wants. He can do whatever we want, whatever he wants, and we'll still give him our vote because that's what black people are supposed to do. And if y'all don't see a problem with that, that's fine, but I see a problem with it. Some of it is being brainwashed, but then the other part, I understand, genuinely just wanting to get the current president out of office. You might be so hell-bent on getting rid of one person, you don't even care about what the other person is doing. So then another reason why I believe Biden as a president and his running mate would not have put this plan in motion is just because of their history. Both the presidential candidate and his running mate, Kamala Harris, are a major factor in the problem that we have in mass incarceration. We talk so much about mass incarceration. We talk about how our men are being locked up. The ones who are guilty, by all means, lock them up. But the ones who you don't have enough evidence against, or you just get locking them up and throwing away the key because mass incarceration is real, you're wrong. I can't rock with Kamala. People, they say, how do you think the exonerated five, because we don't acknowledge them as the Central Park Five anymore, right? The exonerated five feels about Trump being the president after what he said about them. Okay. And that's fine. I'm not taking that away because I agree 100%. When I saw what he said about those boys and that they should be executed, that was just not right. And they turned out to be innocent. And it's like he never apologized for what he said. So he's dead wrong for that. Okay? Let me just get that out the way. I'm not undermining that by any means. In the same token, okay, yes, Trump said a bad thing about a group of boys who were wrongfully accused. Okay, he said a bad thing, but imagine being the person who actually put people who were wrongly accused behind bars, and not just some people, hundreds of people. And between the two of them, I don't even know how many people, okay? I don't know, but I'm just saying, I don't know how y'all can really 100% say that you want to vote for someone like that, knowing what they're doing to our people, even one of them being one of our people. Everybody's talking about I don't even remember his first name, the Cameron guy, the district attorney on Breonna Taylor's case. But like at the same time, Kamala Harris did the same thing. How many of y'all seen Fruitvale Station? Okay, so now this is the reason, like the first reason of why I personally don't want her to be my vice president. Okay, so Fruitvale Station is a true story. If you didn't know that, okay? If you bother to watch it, Fruitvale Station is a true story. Oscar Grant was an unarmed black male killed by a transit cop at a train station after a fight broke out. Okay, now the officer who killed him claims that he thought he was reaching for his taser and shot him. All these people with cameras, there are like pretty much everybody who was in that area minus him, Oscar Grant and his friends, were recording, and they watched this man kill him, and he still got off. Kamala Harris, he only served 2 years and 11 months for killing that man. Now, what I will say, I do see some good in Kamala Harris becoming the vice president. A lot of young girls are going to look at her and they're going to say, wow, there's somebody in a high position in the White House that looks just like me. I do like the inspiration that she could be for our girls. Our girls need to see that. So that could be one reason why I would be somewhat happy with her as my vice president. The second part is him going to Trump. Trump and his administration, he's getting a lot of heat for that because, and I agree, over the past 3.5 years, from what we're seeing, from what we've been shown, and it doesn't even matter being brainwashed. You can't just, you can't say the things that you've been saying, and you can't run your campaign the way you ran your campaign, and a lot of events that went down, the way that you responded, you can't do that and then at the end decide, okay, I'm going to help all these people, because we're gonna look at you crazy. We can look at Trump and be like, really question his intentions, like, why are you really doing this? But it's dead wrong to come after Ice Cube for wanting to help us out. Let's start off with Martin Luther King. And before I say anything else, I am going to say this. No, I am not comparing Ice Cube to Martin Luther King, okay? But what I am saying is that when Martin Luther King was working with the President of the United States to help get us our right to vote, you don't think that man wasn't racist? They didn't want to give us that right to vote. They did not. Saying that, oh, he done got rich and forgot where he came from. That man has been rich for a long time, okay? And I feel like in my heart that if he was going to switch up, he would have switched up a long time ago. I don't think Ice Cube is a sellout. What I think that I am so tired of hearing Black people say, oh, don't nobody do nothing for us and blah, blah, blah. But the minute somebody tries to, we shut them down and we call them names and we attack them and we do this and we do that and we say, oh, well, you're canceled. Okay, so you're going to all of a sudden stop watching every Ice Cube movie, throw away anything with Ice Cube, you're going to mute him, right? Because why? Because he worked with somebody who you don't necessarily agree with and who he said himself he doesn't agree with, but he's willing to put that to the side to do what is best for his people, us. And you're mad at him for that? That's pretty much all that I have for today. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and comment. Whichever topic you have something you want to say about, or if you just want to talk about both, it's cool. Let's have a discussion. You know, I always like to talk. Don't forget to subscribe and be great. Now, I know I started saying, oh, no, forget all that. Okay. Yeah, I'm done.